So Fallon Fox, the trans MMA fighter that Joe Rogan famously called out because they were a female MMA fighter, but they had transitioned from male and they ended up breaking a girl's skull, among other things, at one point, decided to post this on their Facebook wall, essentially in support of the idea that kids should be allowed at drag shows. As you can imagine, I went to work. Now, I had to capture this pretty much immediately because Fallon Fox has already blocked me. But before I did get blocked, I got the following stuff. I posted stuff like this. So, this is an image of Lactatia, who's an 8-year-old boy, at least at the time of this picture. I'll show you a bigger version of this in a moment. I just can't click on this because it'll make this disappear. So here's the image. Now that I'm in post edit, I can add it, but just look at this. So first of all, look at the look in this guy's eyes. It's just fucking disturbing. The dude literally just looks like a, outright, demonic person. And they've got their hand where, if Lactatia was actually a girl, would be their breast. They're trying to suggest that children being involved in drag is not sexualized. And I share these images, and they have no answer for it, other than to threaten me and saying I only have these images for some bad reason. But this is one of Lactatia's, photo shoots. They published this shit. Nothing inappropriate about this, but then you got, Lactatia right here. Again, spread eagle with their hand over their crotch, wearing a mini skirt, sitting next to their mom. Nothing inappropriate about drag kid Lactatia, 8-year-old boy, posing with their legs spread eagle and their hand over their crotch. So here's that picture blown up. This is Lactatia, an 8-year-old boy, sitting with their mom, spread eagle on a couch with their hand over their crotch. This should have been the end of the conversation. This should have been the end of the argument. There should not be any further question that this is sexualizing children and that their participation is inappropriate. Period. This picture's 3 years old. This has been going on for a while. And I'm going to get into this in what I'm thinking is probably going to be a documentary called OK Groomer. I'm still doing research because this is just the tip of the iceberg. And then I linked this video, which I can't even play on YouTube because it gets deleted because it's that bad. But I'll share the image of what this is that's with it edited. And if you guys want to watch the TikTok video, this is by far the most blatant example of a drag child, a drag person involving a child, because the drag queen in question's breasts are completely exposed and their ass is hanging out, and the little girl looks to be about 3, and she's just being paraded around this drag show. So here's a picture from the video in question, and I'll leave a link in the description. And the reason I suggest you have to watch this video is because it's really the only way to see just how really bad this was. The breasts were completely exposed, and they're wearing a G-string, so their ass is hanging out. And they're parading around this drag show with what this little girl looks like she's maybe 3. It's just ridiculous. And they have her dressed up in a pretty princess outfit or something, she needs to go play along with it. And now this thing here on the right is actually from a tweet that Liz of TikTok had quoted above here, but it's from an Antifa account saying Ann Arbor is anti-fascist, queer activist, kindergarten teacher. Children belong at drag shows. Children deserve to see fun and expression and freedom. They don't deserve to be locked up in a dirty church basement and told they're going to hell if they touch themselves too much. Now, this sounds like a quote directly from that book I was talking about that's an Antifa book that suggests that we have to expose children to sexuality at a young age, and that fascism is sexual repression. So I got a couple of interesting replies. Dawn Jennifer McCool says, I fail to see the comparison. One is explicitly engaging in sexual innuendo for the sake of sexuality. The other is a stage show with outlandish costumes. And I said, so no sexual innuendo, huh? This photo of Lactatia, 8-year-old boy posing spread eagle in a short skirt with her hand over the crotch. Nothing sexual here? No sexual innuendo in this picture? I mean, when I show you the bigger version of this, you're looking at this dude is this evil look in his face. He's a goddamn Satan worshiper. He's got his hand over where Lactatia's breast would be if they were actually a female. And then I share this link again. And the one thing that they like to do usually is to jump on like whataboutisms by bringing up these child pageants. And I've debunked that a million times. This is the classic whataboutism. This is a real whataboutism, because the existence of child pageants that are sexualized does not suddenly mean that there are not sexualized drag shows going on. So it comes down to this. You either support the idea of sexualized children or you don't. Pointing out that people you believe to be Republicans support sexualizing children in beauty pageants does not suddenly make it okay to sexualize children at drag shows. Like, it doesn't. I guess they want to bring up hypocrisy, and I see that to some point, but like, they don't call out both. I am. The sexualization, and objectification of children is wrong, whether it's cis children, trans children, straight children, gay children. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then they bring up, of course, the church, because these are all whataboutisms, So this one was one of my favorites. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the replies, but again, we're bringing up the sexualized beauty pageants, and they're right to bring that up, aside from the fact that they only are caring about this in response to bringing up, stuff like Lactatia, right? And they had some interesting responses, but unfortunately, those did get deleted, and I don't have them, but I do have these. This girl, Melanie Cad, said, brings up this MAGA mom, I would never let my children go to a drag show, the children, bringing up these beauty pageants. And I said, whataboutism, classic. Pageant girls can be bad at the same time as their 8-year-old drag kid, or as this 8-year-old drag kid sitting on a couch, spread eagle in a short skirt with their hand over their crotch. And then, in response to that, rather than addressing what I said, they said, the real groomers, and then bring up like the child bride Republican supporting people, I guess, as if this person who's advocating for child brides is a groomer, that means that this is not grooming. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that. This is still wrong. And then Melanie says, you act like little girls haven't been made to wear short skirts for fucking ages. Where you been? Like, I'm like, no, I didn't say anything about that. I didn't like cuties. I spoke out against it. Cuties was fucking shit. It doesn't matter. Anyway. And I said to them, Republican senators who do things like that can also be as bad as the drag images I have shown. Again, it's a whataboutism. Both things can absolutely be true at the same time. And it still doesn't make it right. So I did save some screenshots of some of the replies before I got banned by Fallon Fox, and I'll bring those up now. Actually, it looks like this is the only screenshot I was able to grab, but anyway, it still kind of gets to the key point, which is they just kind of stumble looking for ways to justify this. And this line here near the bottom, the problem is that the foundations of society are built around white patriarchy. It needs to be dismantled. What is your purpose here? And I asked them later, so just so I understand, we are sexualizing children and exposing them to drag because we need to dismantle white patriarchy? And they didn't really have an answer for that. And that's because there isn't one. Like, when you confront these people, they kind of fold, and eventually they threatened to dox me. They said, I've looked into this before, and people who have these images sitting around usually turn up to be pedophiles, because they were like, it said, you need to be careful about sharing these images. And I was like, bitch, bring it on, and that's the fucked up thing. And as I said in response to them before it got banned, the fact that you have children and are supporting this is what's disturbing. Let's have a look. The Satanic Temple of Colorado. Why am I not surprised? So here it looks like they're getting inducted into the Satanic Temple, and everybody's like, congratulations, congratulations, and then like Ave Satanis. At the bottom of this, there's somebody with the same last name as them, pleading with them that God loves them or whatever. Why would you worship someone who wants to see you destroyed? But again, flat out Satan worshiper. So this person also has another profile picture with 2 children, very young, probably about the same age as Lactatia. And as you can see, their main profile picture photo is a child. I'm not going to zoom in on it, but if you don't believe me, you know, if you're one of the lefties listening to this who likes to try to jump me in Discord, you can go look them up yourself. But this person threatened to dox me, you know, so here you go. Here's looking at you. Fucking bring it. You know, you want to dox me? By all means. You want to show up at my house? Just make sure you're armed. So that's it for this video, folks. I'm currently in the middle of doing research for a documentary I believe I'm going to call OK Groomer. You know, one of the things that lady said when they were trying to threaten to dox me was like, you know, why do you have all these images? You better be careful about sharing these images or I'm going to dox you. They don't want those images out there, and I honestly don't want to look at them. Researching this has been extraordinarily disturbing, and I'm only touching on the surface, you know, of just how dark things get when you start to get behind the scenes. And the reality is this. I have to have these stupid images around specifically for situations like that, because they're just openly lying and saying that these things are not going on. So I'm just gonna beat the subject to death. Like, I'm gonna just layer upon layer upon layer, defend this, and defend this. And then, again, this has been going on for a long time. It's just only now that we're actually, you know, talking about it. But a lot of those pictures I showed were, you know, were old. And the Desmond pictures, like the Desmond is Amazing stuff, where you got a child walking around, 8 years old, you know, dancing suggestively with adult men, giving them money like they're at a strip show. I mean, again, what the hell, right? So, thanks for tuning in, folks.